My name is Blaze. Welcome to Data X 101, a refresher course explaining the concept of data visualization and storytelling. Data is everywhere. It exists in everything we do, from the number of impressions on our Facebook page to the number of impressions on our tweets. We can see data in, for example, the number of calories we burn, the kilometers we run, the number of cars coming into Lagos every morning, the number of cars going out of Lagos every evening. This is data. We can see data in the number of website visits, the number of pages opened, or the amount of time the visitors stay on each page. That is data. Every day we see data. Every day we constantly accumulate data. So it is said that in the past 3 years, the amount of data created in the internet is much more than the amount of data ever created since the beginning of the world. Let's take a look at Nigeria, for example. We know everyone uses smartphones. We know a lot of Nigerians are on Facebook. We know a lot of Nigerians are on Twitter. A lot of Nigerians are on Instagram. When you look at that, every day people post things. Nigerians especially, we are on Twitter, we are posting, we're writing updates. How many photos each Nigerian on Instagram has? That is data. Data is everywhere. Data is in everything we do. What exactly is data actually? Data is any collected information, statistics, numbers, measurements. Data can also be words, observation, or inputs. So there are two types of data that we talk about. One, we have quantitative data. Two, we have qualitative data. So what is quantitative data? That is data that can be measured. For example, number of website visits, number of shirts in a box, number of cameras in a showroom. That is quantitative data. What is qualitative data? These are things that you can observe but you cannot measure. For example, the color of cars in a car park. You can observe it, you can see it, but you can't measure it. Okay, so now, in these types of data that we have, under quantitative data, we have two types of data. Under quantitative, we have discrete, we have continuous. With discrete kind of data, it's based on counts, only on certain values. For example, number of car parts damaged in a shipment. Now, when we talk about continuous data under quantitative data, this is data that it has an infinite value. It cannot be measured until it gets to a range. For example, height, time, temperature. So every day we hear data visualization. What is data visualization? Let me make it very simple. Data visualization is the visualization of data. When you make data visual, when data is easily able to be seen, when data is available for easy comprehension, when we can look at data and we can be able to connect patterns, we can see relationships just by looking at them. It helps us understand trends in information, connections, patterns, especially in large data sets. Why does it matter? You see, data visualization helps us see trends. It helps us see comparisons. It helps us see dependencies, relationships. We're able to understand why something happened. We're able to easily make connections. Why is data visualization essential? You see, with data visualization, we're able to make connections, to see things that would rather go unnoticed. Take, for example, this chart that we have here. It compares 6 different hashtags. It was done before the elections. People were talking about a lot of things. People were talking about GEJ. People were talking about GEJ decides. People were talking about article. People were talking about GEJ 2015. Every day a hashtag was born. These things were trending. But there were questions. Why were they trending? What did these hashtags signify? To answer these questions, visualizations were done. Looking at this chart, you will be able to see when each of these started. At what peak did it start? Each of these hashtags started at high peak, which means a lot of people started talking about it at once, at a certain time. If it started at low peak, it means a lot of people started talking about it. It grew. Also, looking at the chart, we're able to see how long they were able to last. We're also able to see when they died off. We're able to see relationships. We have 6 hashtags here. In these 6 hashtags, we're able to see, because most of them, they exist side by side. We're able to measure which was peaking which was not picking. Perhaps one could be the reason why the other was not picking. Perhaps maybe when one was born, one was dying off. This is what data visualization does for us. It helps us see things that we rather go unnoticed. Trends, behavior patterns, and dependencies.